So ever since we saw the leaks from the Battlefield Labs playtest, I think we were all pretty happy to see that DICE at least appear to be heading in a more grounded, authentic direction with not only the overall theme and the tone of the game, but importantly, the cosmetics as well. However, this has had me thinking about how they plan to approach monetization with this game after release if they do stay with these nameless, sometimes faceless soldiers, which isn't exactly the trendy thing to do these days. If you look at other big blockbuster franchises like Call of Duty or Fortnite, they have quite frankly completely lost touch with reality. The general trend these days seems to be collaborations with other well-known franchises or personalities that blur the lines of what made that franchise iconic in the first place. And, well, unfortunately, they seem to keep making them because people keep buying them. And you can bet your bottom dollar that EA would love to get a piece of that pie if we as a community put up with it. And that's exactly the sort of course they tried to follow by shoving specialists into Battlefield 2042. Now, I just so happened to see this video the other day on Lossie's Twitter account, in fact. Shout out to Lossie. But this perfectly illustrates what happens when you introduce the wrong kind of vibe to a game. I don't know how they did this. It appears that somebody managed to mod stormtroopers, presumably from Battlefront 2, directly into Battlefield 5. And whilst part of me thinks this looks kind of cool, it's still very jarring and immersion breaking, which is exactly the kind of feeling that I get when I see skins that don't belong in a world. Now, I sincerely hope that this won't be the case for the next Battlefield game, so in this video, I want to outline some ideas of how DICE can approach monetization and cosmetics to keep the tone of the game in check without the community falling into discord. So without further ado, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you're subbed up. Plenty more to come on the next Battlefield title here in the future. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support. So I asked you guys on Twitter, go and follow me there by the way, plenty of interesting Battlefield conversations going around there, about how you'd like to see the game monetized. And some people expressed to me that paying the $60 price tag should be enough. And believe me, I am completely with you there. But that just isn't really a reality for Battlefield anymore with its live service. The box price will be $60 if not $70, and then EA will almost certainly have an in-game store with battle passes, weapon progression skips, and all the rest of it. It's also very unlikely that we'll ever see the return of premium DLC packs. So I guess the real question is, what sort of cosmetics would you like to see in your battle passes, and what would you be okay with shelling out a bit of money for? So far, two of the factions in the game that have been revealed in the leaks happen to be NATO and the Pax Armata, which is presumably another coalition made up of multiple countries and also possibly a precursor to the PAC, or the Pan-Asian Coalition, from Battlefield 2142. And Russia apparently seems to be chief among them there, since we did see a good amount of Russian weaponry on gear. They had like the RPG, there was some sort of a new mine there as well. Now, I would love to see DICE really embrace this militaristic vibe and, for example, NATO give us a bunch of different countries that we can select as soldier skins. So, for example, you choose the assault class, and then from there, you can choose one of the many countries that make up NATO, each of them with their own distinct voice lines, uniforms, patches on the arm, helmets, camos, vehicle paint jobs, etc. Really, this is somewhat limitless. You could even sell these countries as their own packs on the store, complete with like the voice lines spoken in the native language. I think that would be kind of cool, and obviously they're not going to include that many countries to begin with when they ship the game, but this is something that they could easily add to over time with the additional seasons that the game gets. Also, shout out to Buff Nerd Gaming. He had a great idea on the Twitter thread, and he says, what about class skins for that faction's tier 1 groups and other military branches? So think like SEALs, Delta, Green Berets, Spetsnaz, etc. That could also be a really interesting avenue to look down. I'm not saying it necessarily has to be you know, super ultra realistic like milsim games, because I know people don't really want Battlefield to be a milsim, and I get that. You know, they can get creative with it, but just keep it sort of grounded in that military theme. I seriously believe that whilst the AAA industry have been chasing more childish, cartoony, zany, and wacky skins, and that seems to have been a trend for that for whatever reason has caught on, there is still a massive audience out there that would love this kind of stuff, and I'd bet an audience actually with fairly deep pockets that wouldn't mind paying for some of these things. I don't really know how it happened that we ended up with the skins that we currently have in Call of Duty, but like I said earlier in the video, money talks, and it must just be the case that people are buying those skins. So then it begs the question, where did the audience go from those games who didn't like those skins? Well, they've probably started playing milsim games like Tarkov, like Squad, like Armory Forger and stuff like that, because they want something a little bit more grounded. And I think Battlefield have a great opportunity here really to sort of key into that audience, because to me Battlefield has always been really like the bridge between more arcadey shooters and those more realistic milsim type games. Like, I know a lot of people who watch my content here on the channel and play Battlefield also play and enjoy those milsim style games, but not as many, I don't think, enjoy like the more zany Call of Duty stuff. Now obviously, whether each and every one of us purchase in-game cosmetics in general, that's a personal decision, and you know, some people are completely against microtransactions of any kind, and that's fine, I get that. But speaking for myself here, I don't mind buying some for a game that I will be willing to put hundreds or likely thousands of hours of playtime into if the developers can meet two of my requests. So firstly, that the game actually be fun, that it be a return to form and a proper Battlefield game, and I feel as though they deserve my money, I feel as though I want to support them. And the second thing is that I actually like the cosmetics that I'm purchasing. You know, that's kind of a given. Now, I know some people are going to say, Ghost, why are you, advocating for microtransactions in the game? Stop giving them ideas. But believe me, guys, they are 100% going to have them there. Anyway, they don't need any ideas from me. All I hope is that they don't make any silly gameplay decisions that are clearly based around microtransactions like they did with Battlefield 2042. Because as of now, nothing is really confirmed. All we've seen is some pre-alpha footage that has shown us very little about how skins will look in the final outcome. It's definitely given us a good indication of the route they want to take with the game, but nothing is final. This is all pre-alpha stuff, and it would kind of be a bit of a dick move from both DICE and EA to lead us down that path and then do a complete 180 and be like, no, actually we're going to have ridiculous, weird, wacky and zany skins, so I certainly hope that's not going to happen. But all I'm saying is, if it looks anything like this, then we're going to have problems. You know what I'm saying? So let me know your thoughts, guys. What kind of vibe do you want to see from the skins in Battlefield 6? What sort of route would you, like to see DICE and EA go with this? What do you think some of their options are in terms of creativity? How much do you want to see them sort of go outside the box of reality, if you want to call it that? Leave a like down below if you enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe for more Battlefield. There's going to be plenty of that to come over the next few months and even years. And I will see you guys in the next one.